Welcome to FinSticks. You are not going to believe the buzz we've been tracking
Oh,
lately.
yeah. What's going on?
It seems some pretty wild claims are circulating online, mostly on TikTok, it looks like.
Okay.
And they're coming directly from Chinese manufacturers. They're basically saying, hey, guess what? We're the ones actually making those luxury goods you love.
Wow, okay. So like the original factories.
That's the claim. We've got a bunch of reports here outlining this, and our goal today is really to unpack what's being alleged and, what it might actually mean for consumers.
Absolutely. And what's immediately striking is just how bold these claims are.
Right.
I mean, these manufacturers are putting themselves out there claiming they're the original producers for huge brands like Lululemon, even Louis Vuitton.
Seriously.
Seriously. And the prices they're throwing around are just jaw-dropping.
Like how low?
Think $5 Lululemon leggings, the ones that normally go for what, like $100?
$5? No way.
Yeah. Or Louis Vuitton bags for maybe $50.
$50 for a Louis Vuitton. Okay, that sounds suspect.
Exactly. And some are even suggesting, get this, that something like 80% of all luxury goods actually start out in Chinese factories.
80%. Wow, that's a huge number.
It's massive. It really makes you stop and think.
So naturally, the big luxury brands themselves must have something to say about this. They can't just let claims like that float around.
Precisely. And they have weighed in. Lululemon, for instance, put out a very clear statement. They said they, quote, do not work with the manufacturers identified in the online videos.
Okay, so a direct denial there.
Very direct.
Yeah.
And Louis Vuitton went even further. They basically emphasized that they do not manufacture any of their products in China. Period.
None at all.
That's their stance.
Right.
So you've got this, direct contradiction happening. The manufacturers say one thing, the brands say the complete opposite.
So to understand what might be going on, maybe we need to look at the bigger picture, like the trade situation.
Ah, yes, the context. That's where some analysis gets really interesting.
Tell me more. Is there like a strategic angle here?
Well, the timing is suggestive. These viral videos seem to be popping up just as there's a lot of talk about shifts in U.S.-China trade policy, new tariffs potentially on the horizon.
Right, the tariff discussions.
So one theory is that maybe these manufacturers are trying to quickly capitalize on the current $800 de minimis exemption.
The what exemption?
The de minimis rule. It basically lets goods under $800 enter the U.S. without import duties or tariffs.
Ah, okay, so they're trying to flood the zone before that potential loophole closes?
That's the thinking, yeah. Kind of a get it while you can't strategy before new rules possibly kick in. It's clever, if potentially not entirely above board.
Right, a potential loophole exploitation. But let's be real for a second. How likely is it that these are actually genuine Lululemon leggings for $5? Or real Louis Vuitton?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or maybe the $5 question here. It really brings up the reality of luxury supply chains.
So what is the reality? Do luxury brands make stuff in China?
Well, yes and no. It's true that some brands source components or materials from China, but the actual authorized manufacturers who assemble the final high-end products, they operate under incredibly strict non-disclosure agreements, NDAs.
Okay, so they wouldn't risk their contracts.
Exactly. A legitimate supplier in that position would never, ever jeopardize a multi-million-dollar relationship with a luxury brand by selling products out the back door directly to consumers like this. It just wouldn't happen.
So what are these things then?
The overwhelming consensus among supply chain experts, people who really know this stuff, is that these products being advertised are almost certainly counterfeit.
Counterfeit, right. That makes more sense than $50 Louis Vuitton bags.
It does seem more plausible, yeah.
Now, I saw mention specifically about Hermes Birkin bags, too. That's like the ultimate luxury item. What's the story there?
Ah, the Birkin. Yes, that's a fascinating angle. These TikTok sellers are specifically claiming they can offer Birkin-style bags for around $1,400.
Which sounds like a lot, but compared to the real thing.
It's peanuts. A genuine Birkin often starts around, what, $10,000 and can easily go up to $38,000 or way, way more, depending on materials and rarity.
So $1,400 is a tiny fraction.
Tiny. And their marketing is quite clever. They focus heavily on the visual similarities. It looks just like a Birkin and the huge price difference. But notice what's missing.
The Hermes logo.
Exactly. They deliberately omit the brand logos and trademarks. This seems designed to attract consumers who want the look, the status symbol aesthetic, without the massive price tag. And again, It potentially helps them skirt customs and tariff issues if there's no obvious branding.
So it's about the shape, not the brand.
Kind of, yeah. But it's crucial to remember, authentic Birkin bags, and the Kelly bags too, are primarily handcrafted in France. Hermès has numerous specialized workshops, ateliers, just for this.
Right, not Nike produced in China.
Definitely not. And we have to remember the history here. For years, a very significant chunk of all counterfeit luxury goods seized globally have originated from China. So this fits a pattern, unfortunately.
It really highlights this weird space between wanting the look and wanting the actual authentic thing.
It does. It's this whole market for dupes or lookalikes versus outright fakes.
Let's circle back to Lululemon for a second. Those $5 or $6 leggings claims are just so specific.
They really grab your attention, don't they? But again, Lululemon pushed back hard.
Remind us what they said.
They explicitly denied any relationship with the factories shown in those videos. They were very clear. These are not our authorized partners. Lululemon has even shared its official supplier list publicly.
Oh, interesting. And does that list show any manufacturing in mainland China?
It does show some, yes, but it's a small percentage for their finished goods, something like 3% according to their own reports. And crucially, the specific factories named in the TikToks are not on that official list.
Okay, so the factories in the videos are definitely not legit Lululemon supplier.
That's what Lululemon is stating very clearly.
Right. So with all this back and forth, these claims and denials, how are actual consumers, people scrolling through TikTok reacting to all this?
Well, it seems to be a real mix, actually.
Yeah.
On one hand, you have some consumers looking at these videos and thinking, aha, this proves the massive markups on luxury goods. They see it as like pulling back the curtain on the true cost.
Okay, I can see that perspective, like exposing the industry.
Kind of, but then on the other hand, you almost certainly have people being genuinely misled. They might actually believe they're getting an incredible deal on an authentic product.
And they end up buying, what, counterfeits?
Most likely counterfeits, yes. Or perhaps what people sometimes call dupes, items, designed to look very similar, but without pretending to be the real brand. But even then, there's a huge difference.
Between a dupe and the real thing.
Oh, absolutely. A dupe might capture the look, maybe, but it's fundamentally lacking in, the quality of the materials, the level of craftsmanship, the durability, the quality control, all the things that actually justify or partly justify the high price tag of genuine luxury.
Right. It's not just the logo, it's the actual product quality.
Exactly. So if you see leggings for $5 that usually cost $100, well, you know that saying about things seeming too good to be true.
Yeah, it probably is.
It usually is.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. While that lure of getting super discounted luxury stuff on social media is strong, it really looks like the information points towards these offers being, well, mostly misleading.
Highly likely, yes. Primarily involving counterfeit goods.
It definitely raises some interesting questions, though, about transparency in these luxury supply chains, maybe, and how brands even communicate the value behind why their stuff costs so much.
Absolutely. It touches on value perception, authenticity, and the power of social media trends.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, that's all the time we have for today's exploration.
A lot to think about there.
Definitely. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.